Trainer MMA. What's going on, Dan?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just looking at this now. All right, I got my charger here if I need it. We're all good. Yeah. You want to just get right into this right now?
Yeah, especially if we have that time limit thing.
Yeah, I know. It's so annoying. So we got Elise Reed versus Sam Hughes. Do you want it or do you want me to take it?
I could start it off.
All right, start it off.
Number one, bet decision in this fight because I'm almost 100% confident this is gonna go to a decision.
Yeah, it's probably at like a minus 400 for a decision.
But Elise Reed, she's 1-1 in the UFC. She lost her debut to Sijara Eubanks. Sijara Eubanks is a stud. I love her.
Yeah.
And won that pretty close split decision to Corey McKenna last time. Sam Hughes started her UFC run off pretty rough with 3 straight losses. I know it was Tisha Torres, Loma Lupune, Luana Pinheiro. I mean, some decent competition in there. She beat Estela Nunez in a majority decision last fight. Here's the thing with both these ladies. Sam Hughes did have an impressive comeback. Like, she did come back in her last fight. If I'm remembering correct. Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right.
I was just making sure. I was thinking because I don't know. Anyway, they both mixed me up because it was like both basically split decisions last time. So
right.
Hope I'm thinking of Sam Hughes, but I am. Yeah, Nunez outlanded her, but she did come back and she dominated the 3rd round. For sure.
Yeah, she did.
But this is a tough fight to start off with. I think it's gonna stand for a good amount of it, but I see Sam Hughes maybe catching a takedown as the fight goes on. She's kind of more of the dog in this fight. I think she'll dig deeper to win the fight. I'm just not seeing too much from either of them that impresses me too much, but I'm gonna take Sam Hughes by decision.
See, I kind of like Elise Reed. 5-1 pro record, but she's got a 7-1 amateur record. Made her debut right into Bellator, then Cage Fury after that. Faced good competition, and it's not actually as green as her record looks. Like you said, tough outing against Sarge Eubanks and a debut. That's going to be tough for anyone. And it was on a week's notice at a higher weight class. Just saying. And then went on to beat Corey McKenna, and I think very highly of Courtney McKenna and Corey McKenna, excuse me. And I think that was like a pretty impressive win.
Yeah,
you got to see how good her striking actually is, and she is like pretty diverse, punches, kicks, kickboxing style. Sam Hughes 1-3 in the UFC, tough matchups, did weather the storm in that last time out. That was nice to see, but yeah, I don't know. Overall, I just like Elise Reed just a little bit better, I think, wherever the fight goes.
the decision part though.
Right, the decision is probably going to happen.
Decision is my only play on this fight.
Yeah, I kind of like Elise Reed. I like what I've seen from her already compared to Sam Hughes is better. So
yeah,
I'll probably bet on the first one. I'll bet Reed, but we're gonna disagree on this one. I'm gonna go Reed. Dan's gonna go Hughes. We're gonna move right into the next one. Chase Hooper versus Felipe Colares. All right, so Chase Hooper came into UFC with a 10-0 record, a lot of hype behind him, and he was 18 years old when he made his debut. Very good grappler, black belt in BJJ and international BJJ champion. Struggled with the striking, but has gotten better recent history. It's technical, but it doesn't have power or speed in his strikes, really. Physically, though, for a featherweight, he's a big guy, and people struggle matching up with him. Like that David or Daniel Timer fight, he had a 7-inch height, 5-inch reach advantage on him. Taking on Felipe Colares, 2-3 in the UFC. Hasn't really impressed me too much. He's more of a grappler, black belts in BJJ and judo, and tough as nails too. It hasn't been finished in his career ever in three pro losses. He's been outstruck in 4 of his 5 UFC fights, but the big one here I think is his 1.8 takedowns per fight, and has been knocked down in 2 out of his last 3. Just saying. So his chin is kind of questionable, but the striking is pretty close. Colares has the wrestling advantage, and Hooper, I think, is better off his back, but he gets complacent on the ground, and I think that plays a big part of it. So I'm going to go Colares in this one.
Yeah, so am I. Chase Hooper's stand-up is, I'm going to be honest, it's laughably bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's amongst the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I obviously give Kolaris the edge there, and when it hits the ground, it's like I don't think Hooper is miles above Kolaris. Like Kolaris is, I don't know. Like
No, I get
Jason,
it.
there's not much of a disparity in the grappling game. Kolaris is a grappler than in the striking game, where Hooper is amongst the worst.
Fair to say. No, I get it. That makes sense.
Kolaris is solid money.
Yeah. I think he's oh no, he is a favorite. He's a favorite, but it's pretty close. So
Yeah.
that's a good one. We're gonna agree on this one. We're both gonna go Felipe Colares, and we're gonna move right into the next one. Jonathan Martinez versus Vince Morales.
Yeah, Vince Morales, he's coming off that knockout win over Luis Smolka. Also beat Draco Rodriguez in August 2021. He lost his last two before that, but he is on a nice 2-fight winning streak. He's fought some pretty good guys like Chris Gutierrez, Sonya Dong. So he's decent. I actually really like this fight. I think this is the best fight of the night so far by a lot.
Yeah, this is like a very under the radar war. I expect the guys just throw hands in this.
Yeah, I know Jonathan Martinez has gotten kind of starched before and has gotten dropped a couple times, but I think I think he's more crisp, and I think he's more versatile on the feet. And for that reason, I'm gonna take Jonathan Martinez in this.
Yeah, dude.
Solid too.
I totally agree with you. He's got like a really awkward fight style. He's hard to figure out. Keeps his hands up high, more of a boxing style. He does headhunt a lot. Doesn't really utilize too many kicks, which is, you don't really like to see that. But he's very technical and he's a hard hitter. His chin's been a little questionable, like you said. He was able to recover and get the win in one of those times he was knocked down. So that was good to see him overcome some adversity right there.
He works me a little bit, I'll say that.
Yeah. His takedown defense is also very good. Only been taken down one time in his last 5 fights. Vince Morales got off to a slow start, went 1-4 in the UFC, and is on a nice back-to-back win streak right now. Did move gyms in 2020, and now fights at a Syndicate MMA and has gone 2-1 since. So that you always like to see that. Fighting style is similar to Martinez. Both guys are known to headhunt a bit. Blue belts and BJJ both like to mostly rely on their striking. And I see this fight stay on the feet. I like Martinez a lot. Quicker, takes less damage, and I think he'll take this one.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, cool.
Yeah, catch him with something.
Yeah, both agree, and both going to go Jonathan Martinez. Moving right to the next one, Omar Morales versus Uros Medic. Now, this is going to be an entertaining fight, to say the least.
Yeah, this in the last fight, or
yeah, these are nice. Very excited for this. Uros Medic came into the UFC with a bang, landing 2 first-round KOs, with his opponent landing 2 total significant strikes in those fights, really showcasing explosive power, quickness, pressure right out of the gate. He's a very good fundamental kickboxer. Then fought Jalen Turner, and we saw he's got a little hole in his game. He was smothered in the grappling and subbed in the first. And now he's training at King's MMA, which I think is a great move for him. Whatever local gym he was at in Alaska, you got to move on from that. He's taking on Omar Morales, who's a striker, fights at both 145 and 155, but I think 155 is probably better for him. 3-2 in his last 5, more of a boxing style. He doesn't have the best volume in his striking. Little kicks, but does have a good submission game, and I think he has the advantage on the ground as well. But I think this is a good matchup for Medic. He's got the better striking. Morales, he does have a background in BJJ, but we rarely see him grapple in the UFC. But I do expect him to try to grapple in this fight for sure. But I think Medic will be able to get the better of him, so I'm going to go Medic in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree on this one. Uros Medic, he came into the UFC on fire. I mean, he had that Contender Series performance, the performance against Alon Cruz, and then last fight, it kind of just, I don't want to it definitely took a lot of the hype away. That's for
sure.
I'm not out on this guy yet. This guy comes out look at the fight against Cruz. He just came out swinging, he landed 45 strikes in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, the guy's a freak.
Yeah, he's a beast. But I do think that he is fighting better competition in the UFC now. I think Omar Morales is just more well-rounded. He's just Jalen Turner was really good, so I don't want to. I think Jalen Turner is better than Omar Morales. I was going to say something about that, but Omar Morales has gone the full 3 rounds with Giga Chikadze.
That was big. He didn't do good, but he lasted 3 rounds.
Yeah, and like Giga is a top 6, top 7 featherweight.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like I'm not claiming he's a he's a world beater, but he is one of the better strikers, definitely one of the better strikers in the division.
Right.
He got out like 2-1 in that fight. So I do think Uros Madic's going to start off strong, but I see him fading as the fight goes on. I probably won't throw money on this, but if I had to, my money would be on Morales. I just need to see Medic not get too frazzled when.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what it looks like past the first couple of minutes too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But he's gonna be super active, and I think it might leave him open. That's one thing
that's entirely possible as well. So we are going to disagree on this one. I'm going to go Uros Medic. Dan's going to go Omar Morales. We're going right to the next one. Parker Porter versus Jailton Almeida.
Yeah. I'm gonna let Connor finish off strong with this one, but also I'll just mine short and sweet. Parker Porter lost that fight pretty brutally to Chris Dawkins in his first UFC appearance. But after that, he had 2 performances where he landed 126 and then 149 strikes. Then beat Alan Badeau in his last fight. In my opinion, his fights are definitely pretty boring. Not the most fun to watch. But
there's not going to be really any knockouts.
But I do see the fight finishing. I think Jailton Almeida is going to end up. I mean, this guy's. Parker Porter is better, but Almeida's got the technique advantage by a lot, in my opinion. I think he's going to be able to take him down, throw a couple punches, elbows, and maybe get a. I could see him. I see him probably getting a sub, but either way, I see him getting a finish, either a TKO or a sub in the first or second round.
See, this fight is so interesting, and it's like begging me to take the humongous underdog in Parker Porter like a plus 500. He's a heavyweight, 260, cuts to 265, granite chin, usually just outpoints his opponents to a decision, something like that. He's got crazy high volume, averages 7 strikes per minute, and even peppers in some takedowns. He's taken this fight on short notice, but it's at heavyweight. And Jailton Almeida is a 205, but he's a big guy, so he's probably 225 right now. I would say something like that. And it's not like moving from 145 to 155 on short notice. We're talking about 60 pounds to play with. That being said, Almeida is still the taller, and he's going to have the longer reach out of the two. He's finished all of his wins 9 by sub, 6 by KO. Suffocating grappler. I think this is a classic grappler versus striker, but the size is really like sketching me out in this. So I think I am actually gonna take Parker Porter. If he can't get Parker Porter's fat ass down, because that's his key to victory, Jailton Almeida, he's a grappler mostly, unless he's gonna get a TK on the ground or something like that. But yeah, he needs to take you down to win, and I think he's gonna struggle with that. So yeah, I'm taking the humongous underdog.
I mean, this is almost like my Hernandez underdog pick.
Yeah, it's up there.
Bringing it up, but
those
I did take Hernandez beating what's his name?
Yeah, the big muscle freak.
Yeah, the big muscle sub guy. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, big muscle sub guy. So we're disagreeing. What the fuck is that asshole's name? Whatever. Dan's going to go with Jailton Almeida. I'm going to go Parker Porter, and we're going to move right into the next one. Joseph Holmes versus Alan Amidovsky. Joseph Holmes, 1-1 so far under the UFC umbrella, made his UFC debut in his last time out in a very close fight with Jamie Pickett. Fights out of Glory MMA under head coach James Krause. I think he's got a humongously high ceiling. Only 26 years old, 80-inch reach in the middleweight division. And you can't blame him for making his debut against a UFC vet like Jamie Pickett. That's tough. He's finished all 7 of his.
He's got some areas for improvement for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He's finished all 7 of his wins. Very well-rounded fighters. Take on Alan Amidovsky, 0-2. He's been away from the game for nearly 3 years. He's coming off a loss from John Phillips, and is John Phillips' only win inside the UFC, where he went 1-5, and it was a 17-second KO loss. and put on an even worse showing before that, getting outstruck 111-6 and controlled for 9 minutes and 30 seconds. This fight has Holmes written all over it. I like him a lot here.
Yeah, I mean, I might choose. No, I can't confidently say Amidovsky, but I think I might roll with him in my prediction here. I'm not going to bet on it, but Joseph Holmes, he looked a little too green and raw in some areas. This is definitely a good bounce back. I feel like the UFC is giving him a winnable fight, but at the same time, Amidovsky has he got caught in his last fight. He lost in like 16, 17 seconds. 17. And he got decimated by Krzysztof Jotko.
Yeah, that was not fair.
But I think that plus what's his odds at? Oh, I thought he was going to be at like plus 250.
No, he's like a minus 150, I think. Oh, minus 200.
Holmes is a minus 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't really. I don't know if I would recommend betting on this fight. If Amidovsky was a bigger underdog, I would have. I probably would have leaned that way. But I think that the UFC is giving Joseph Holmes a winnable match.
Yeah, I think this is an absolute stellar bounce back fight for him. And they're kind of at the same amount of experience, 8-2, 7-2. Pretty close.
Yeah.
And he's got a humongous.
I'd say Amidovsky is way further along in his MMA journey than.
Yeah, he's like 8 years older, but nothing to show for it really.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're disagreeing. Dan's gonna go with Alan Amidovsky. I'm gonna go with Joseph Holmes. Gonna move right into the next one. Eric Anders versus Jung Young Park.
Yes, sir. Is this me or you?
I don't know actually. I think it's you. I did the left one. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this will be an interesting one. We got the Iron Turtle.
I love that
nickname. Anders. These guys are both just bulky beasts.
Yeah, they're legends.
Absolutely.
They've been around for. They've done good.
Yeah, Jung Young Park. His last fight was against RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez in that sick fight. I don't know how Gregory Rodriguez didn't get knocked down.
Dude.
Jung Young Park also has a win over Tafani Chukwi, John Phillips, Marc-Andre Barriel.
Impressive.
Yeah, he's well-rounded. He's pretty versatile. Compared to Eric Anders, Eric Anders doesn't have much footwork at all. He's got power and he's got pressure, but the lateral movement really isn't there. It's just power, pressure, pushing you forward, trying to land a big shot, big left hand or something.
Right.
I think Jung Young Park has way more tools at his disposal. He can definitely he's a far better grappler / wrestler. He could bring the fight down to the ground way easier than Eric Anders. I think this is a pretty clean Jung Young Park win for me, unless Anders catches him with something. But I think Jung Young Park is the superior mixed martial artist.
Yeah, dude, I'm agreeing with you totally in this one. Park, very well rounded, good wrestling at striking. He's outstruck 4 of his 5 UFC opponents, plus 0.8 striking differential. Always moves forward, marches down his opponent. Can have trouble stopping takedowns, but he's got great cardio. He's taking on Eric Anders, who's coming off a very one-sided first round sub loss. More of a stand-up guy, kickboxing style, minus 0.7 striking differential. Likes to control his opponents up against the cage, dirty box. He did move over to Fight Ready a couple of years ago, which I thought was a good move for him. But overall, I think Jung Young Park is just a little bit better wherever the fight goes.
I do too.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like the rest, I think he's significantly better. I'm not gonna say way better, but
yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And he's a minus 220 favorite right now. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's about right. All right, so we're agreeing. We're both going Park. Going to move right into the next one: Polyana Viana versus Tabitha Ricci. So Polyana Viana 3-3 so far in the UFC. All three wins first round subs, and has finished all 12 of her wins 8 by sub. She's got great size for strawweight, 5'5", 67-inch reach. She went on a 3-fight losing streak, but 2 of those fights were pretty close split decisions. Actually, one was a split decision. One was just a really close unanimous decision that I thought could have gone either way. Diverse striking, very active with kicks, works her jab a lot. But I would say her ground game is the best part of her game. BJJ brown belt, taking on Tabitha Ricci, 1-1 so far. Made her UFC debut against Manon Fiorot, got dominated. Only a 6-1 record. She does have 7 exhibition custom rules fights, which I take with a grain of salt. Custom rules fights, they're pretty sketchy, and usually the rules favor one person to win that they want.
Hmm.
She's a BJJ practitioner as well. Did show she can get takedowns too. I have to give Viana the advantage on the feet, and their ground games I think even out. So I'm gonna go with Polyana Viana in this one.
I'm gonna disagree on this one. Tabitha Ricci did lose her first fight pretty one-sidedly, but that was at flyweight, and she's a 5'1", 115er.
Right.
Obviously, yeah, she's gonna lose to Manon Fiorot, who's a fucking beast, way taller than her, just more mass on her.
Right.
In a matchup more similar to her skill, last fight she fought Maria Oliveira. She landed 5 takedowns and took the UD in that one. Now, this is a really interesting fight.
It is.
For me at least. Polyana Viana has won her last 2 against Emily Whitmire and Mallory Martin. Neither of them are known for their sub game, sub defense, or anything. She lost 3 before that in a row, where she did get subbed herself. So I'm gonna give I think I would give the overall grappling advantage to Ricci. I would give the striking advantage to Viana, but I think Ricci's going to be able to take her down. Both of them have solid BJJ. I don't think there's necessarily going to be a finish, but whoever's on top is probably going to win. I could see Viana getting complacent on the ground and Ricci just taking like a 29-28.
I could see a sub finish from either of them.
Yeah.
It
could happen.
Yeah, it could happen. But yeah, that one's a close one. I'm gonna go Polyana Viana. Dan's gonna go Tabitha Ricci. We're gonna move right into the next one. Chidi Njokwani versus Dusko Todorovic.
Yes, sir. Is that me?
Yeah, I had the last one.
All right, yeah. So Chidi Njokwani is definitely getting they're definitely building him up a little bit. I mean,
yeah,
he stopped Marc-Andre Barrios in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, that was an impressive showing.
And this is a guy that's beaten Dalchalam Bangula, Abu Izatar. So I wouldn't put too much. I mean, he did catch him, but this guy's got nasty power. 80-inch reach.
Yep.
He's a little raw, but the issue I see in this fight is I see Dusko Todorovic getting caught pretty early too. I don't think that Chidi's going to be a world beater. I think if he was 10 years younger, he could be. But
right.
The guy's turning 34 this year. I don't know. It's just not. I don't think the future is too bright for Chidi. I mean, I'm a fan of him.
Same.
He's going to be a nice little knockout. He's going to be a fun knockout artist to watch right now. I don't think Dusko's going to be able to really take him down. His takedown game hasn't been impressive to me, at least. He's gotten dropped a good amount of times, or at least Soriano definitely dropped him a couple times.
Right.
Let me go back and make sure. Yeah, Soriano dropped him twice. That's the only time he's been dropped in the UFC, surprisingly. But yeah, I see Chidi landing something pretty big and pretty quickly. I see a first-round knockout for Chidi right there.
Yeah, dude, I love Njokwani in this one. Former RFA, Bellator, LFA fighter, and he's fought solid competition throughout his 28-fight career. Like you said, he's 34, including wins over Max Griffin, Andre Palajo, Alan Joban, and Melvin Gillard before even reaching the UFC. Now he's 1-1 with 16-second KO over Marc Barrios, like you said, who I hold in very high regard. So that was a very tough UFC debut. So he's a hard hitter, great hand speed, 80-inch reach with 2 KOs so far in the UFC. Very fast, explosive leg kicks too. Dusko Todorovic, on the other hand, 3-2 in the UFC. More of a striker, but he's got a black belt in Taekwondo too, but also has a black belt in BJJ. But we just haven't really seen any of that throughout his 5-fight UFC career. We've seen him go for takedowns, but he doesn't really get any of them. He just goes for him and kind of stalls because he doesn't have the best cardio. But both guys are hard hitters, technical. But I got to go with Njokwani in this one.
Yeah, so like it's who's the favorite in that fight actually?
And Joe Kwani.
200. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I like him in that too.
Yeah.
Glad we're agreeing. Both gonna go with Cheaty Cheaty Bang Bang and Joe Kwani.
Bang bang.
Right into the co-main event: Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Michel Pereira.
Yes, sir. Do you mind if I take this one?
Yeah, you can take it.
All right, this fight's gonna be fun.
This side.
This is the fight I'm most excited for.
And I'm pretty confident in my pick.
Who do you have?
Well, you're gonna find out, my friend.
All right, so I'm pretty confident in my pick as well.
All right, let's see.
Michel Pereira has won his last 4.
Should be 5.
Yeah, that Diego Sanchez fight. He beat Fiallo, he beat Nico Price, he beat Chaos Williams, he beat Zalim Imadaev. He was pretty impressive in that fight. He's been pretty impressive in all of his fights. But the one issue that Michel Pereira has is his cardio. This guy slows down noticeably. First round, Michel Pereira is a stud.
Yeah.
He's all wacky and throw those weird strikes.
Yeah, but you know what? He's been fighting a lot smarter, and his cardio has been looked a lot better recently.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, but at the same time, it's like it is worrisome because it's been a constant thing going throughout his career. This guy can't fight for all 5 rounds.
Right.
Or all 3 rounds.
Great.
Who knows what's going to happen when he gets to 5, but this is definitely an issue. He's a highlight reel fighter, but here I think I like Santiago Ponzinibbio. I think that he throws the straight punches. He had that really close fight with Jeff Neal last time. Fight really could have gone either way. He beat Miguel Baeza before that. He just likes to stand up and just like, I'll hit you 120 times. You could hit me 120 times. We'll see what happens. And I think as the fight continues to go on, I give more and more of an edge to Ponzinibbio. At first, and I don't really see him getting stopped. I know the Leech was able to stop him pretty quickly, but Ponzinibbio has a tremendous track record in the UFC. This guy has been flying under the radar for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I got Santiago Ponzinibbio. I think he edges out a decision. Michel Pereira takes round 1, and it's going to shift round 2 where Ponzinibbio starts just catching him. I think his volume is going to be the key to the
Yeah, Ponzinibbio 1-2 since coming back from that 3-year hiatus. Very favorable I thought was a very favorable matchup against Jeff Neal, and it was a split decision.
It was a super close fight.
It was a super close fight, and you can't be mad at that. Could have gone either way. Ponzi, very fun to watch, loves to strike, but gets caught up in his hands a bit. Then all of a sudden he's in a war and he's doing shot for shot. It's not like the smartest way to fight. Very entertaining. Both guys are, but Ponzi, very entertaining.
This is fight of the night.
This could be fight of the night.
I think this will be fight of the night. I don't see another fight topping this.
Right. Ponzi, he is one-sided, only 60% takedown defense. Like I said, mostly strikes. And he's taken on an entertaining guy in himself, Michel Pereira. 4-1 his last 5, should be 5 in a row, like I said. Came into the UFC, immediately gained fans with that crazy athletic fight style. But recently, I'm telling you, he's been fighting a lot more conservatively. And I think
a little bit.
I think a lot smarter. He's gone to decision in his last 3 fights over Nico Price, Andre Falaho, Chaos Williams, all guys who I think are crazy, very good. He's got a plus 1.5 striking differential, 55% striking defense, and the more well-rounded, hands down. I'm taking him in this. The odds are basically a pick 'em, so I'm going to eat up on that one, I think.
We'll see who wins. We'll see who gets to shit talk the other one.
We'll see. I'm going to go Michel Pereira. Dan's going to go Santiago Ponzinibbio, and we're going to move right into the main event. Holm versus Ketlen Vieira. Holly finally back after nearly 2 years away from the UFC, and she's 40 years old now. Former pro boxer, kickboxer, and UFC champion. Was supposed to fight Norma Dumont back in 2021, but she had to pull out due to a knee injury. I'm curious to see how this layoff will affect her. I have a feeling that it will be beneficial for her. The last time we saw her against Irene Aldana, she absolutely put on the best performance we've seen from her in a very long time and beat her PR for takedowns in that fight, and showed that she is still improving even this late in her career. She's taken on Ketlen Vieira, who came into the UFC red hot, 4 straight wins, although she was a little lucky. She had a some pretty close, two of them, I think, split decisions in there. She's since gone 2-2, hasn't looked too good in my opinion, but had a very close fight with Sarge Eubanks. Had an embarrassingly boring fight against Kana Kuniskaya. Relied slow. That was disgusting fight. Relied slowly on her grappling, getting over 4 minutes of control time in 2 rounds. Did no damage from the top and lost.
She landed 7 strikes in that fight. I remember arguing with people. She did not win that fight. All she did was fucking hold her.
Yeah, Kuniskaya literally outstruck her and won from her back after getting control for 4 minutes, which is just you never see. And Vieira definitely slowed as the fight went on too in that. So in this one, I can't believe it, but I'm gonna go with Holly Holm.
Yeah. My prediction for this is it's gonna be the least crowd pleasing fight we've ever seen. The last 2 times we've seen Holly Holm after that Amanda Nunes head kick knockout. She fought Raquel Pennington where they clinched against the fence for 3 rounds. And then she had a pretty... That fight against Irene Aldana, that fight was, if I remember, it was
pretty one-sided.
It was definitely pretty bad.
The fight wasn't. It was a dominant performance from Holm.
It was, but like it wasn't a crowd-pleasing fight.
It wasn't. I don't think it was. But it wasn't a finish. If that's what you're looking for, it wasn't a finish. She just dominated her on the feet.
Yeah. I expected more from Aldana in that fight, to be honest. So I was a little disappointed. But Holly Holm, she's not gonna. I mean, who knows? It could be crowd pleasing because she's just gotta avoid Ketlen Vieira on the ground. But Holly Holm should just put on a pretty. She's gonna put on a technical striking clinic, and I don't think Aldana has. Not Aldana. I don't think that Vieira is gonna be able to keep up with that. She's already showed gas tank problems. Holly Holm's a constant
5-round fight.
Yeah,
it's
Holly Holm's winning this fight.
I agree.
I almost say it's a lock.
Oh wow! All right, yeah, that's cool. So I just had to run. I looked up. My computer was at 1%, and yeah, we're both agreeing. Both gonna go Holly Holm. That's it. Good one. We got 4 minutes to spare, and yeah, another week in the books. Curious to see how this pans out. There's a couple of strange fights on this card.